My name is Mike Jimenez, and this is The Acquired Taste. It is Wednesday here in San Antonio, Texas. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. We're halfway through the work week. Come spend lunchtime with us, okay? We're going from 12 to 1:15. If you're listening in the future at 3 p.m., 6 p.m., 9 p.m., how you doing? This show is not dated at all. You can enjoy this show whenever you want to listen to it. My name is Mike Jimenez. We talk about sports, pop culture, nostalgia. We are live on Facebook, live on Twitter, and most importantly, we are live on YouTube, and those comments are already coming on in because if you subscribe to us on YouTube, you can leave a comment and I can read it in real time and react to it in real time. We have a big show today. Jeff Garcia of Locked On Spurs, Ken's 5, is my guest today. He has a story about Evan Fournier of the New York Knicks. Might want to play for Poppin, the Spurs. He's French like Wemby. And the thing about it is this, he's also has a story, Jeff Garcia, about a 90s rock star who's showing the Spurs some love. We'll talk to Jeff Garcia in about 15 minutes or so. You know, Dallas Cowboys training camp hasn't even started yet. And one of their star players, the captain, says he might hold out. A country music star, in entertainment news, a country music star is accused of being super racist with his new song and his new music video. We'll get into that. We'll also have to talk about why I got shadow banned on Twitter. There's a poll on this because for about 36 hours, I was shadow banned from Twitter and unable to post anything. And I have a poll out, so you can reach out to me at MJ Acquired Taste. The poll is basically asking the questions, what were the reasons for the shadow ban? And I've narrowed it down to 4. Joe Garcia producing today's show.
Yeah.
Because I went through about 1 or 2 weeks worth of tweets. Either A, it's because they hated my take about how I thought Friends and The Office both suck. Did I piss people off by criticizing a Republican lawmaker who's against the new Spurs Arena proposal? Was it that couple who was trying to come after both me and you in our show, Joe?
Yeah.
Did they somehow get into the mix and think to themselves, you know what? We're just going to F with this guy and get him shadow banned for a day or two?
Could be.
Or was it because of Moneybags Jeff Garcia? Was it because he needed me off of Twitter for a couple of days, hoping that the nickname Moneybags would go away?
Well, you know what? It didn't, because I put the picture up yesterday.
Yeah.
And then went crazy again. Everybody was liking that picture. It's never going to die, man.
Do you know how difficult it was to go on Twitter and be able to see all the comments and be able to surf Twitter, if you will, but not be able to make a comment at all?
Yeah.
And react? And they're trying to clown me a little bit, which I don't mind. I don't mind it that people come at me on social media. I think it's funny. But I couldn't defend. And then towards the end of the show, in the entertainment section, I had never heard of such a thing. OnlyFans boxing. This is apparently a thing. And I want to know, can we bet on this? Like,
Right?
what's going on with this? Because it's been making a lot of news. And it was the first thing that I saw when I fired up Twitter earlier this morning. And we'll show you some video, some things that went on. We're not going to show you the rated R version of what went on. But OnlyFans boxing is apparently a thing. Again, Joe Garcia is producing today's show. We have a lot of people who are already sounding off on YouTube. A lot of them making fun of some of the comments that we made yesterday. We had Johnny Walker, Holmes High School star, high school player back in the day. He was also a UT Longhorn wide receiver back in the day. A lot of people reacted and were like, man, he did a good job. That we had a good vibe going on. So we'll be working more with Johnny Walker.
Johnny's good people, man. He's funny.
Texas High School Hall of Fame member. But they're making fun of me. Daniel Castro already reaching out and saying, Nalgas Bar and Grill. Just simply because I asked the question, why isn't there a Hooters type of restaurant for guys that like booties? It was a simple question.
That should be the name of the restaurant.
Booties?
Booties.
Kind of like it. But people might think that it's like, you know, for kids' socks.
Yeah, but the the O's, those could be the nalgas.
No, it's a B and then a peach symbol. Peach emoji. TIES. I like it already. You see, $1 million ideas that we're getting here on the Acquired Taste,
man. But you know what? One thing we got to celebrate, you just finally being able to get out of Twitter jail, man. So without further ado, we're going to put the graphic up, man.
Vince McMahon style.
Yeah, that's how you walk in out of Twitter jail.
Just walking back into Twitter. Twitter is such a cesspool, but it's kind of a necessary evil when it comes to it all. But we have lots to get into today. Let's go ahead and start off with some NFL talk. We've been talking a lot about the Spurs, Victor Wembanyama, but training camp for the NFL teams is coming up pretty soon. And then we get a report today, Adam Schefter of ESPN, saying that the captain of the Dallas Cowboys, Zach Martin, is threatening to sit out training camp. Again, he's doing this now, right as camp is going to start. So I've got two things. Either A, he's really pissed, or B, he's reached the point of his career where he doesn't want to go through a grueling summer camp in Oxnard, California. Zach Martin is a 6-time All-Pro player. He's one of the greatest Dallas Cowboy players to ever suit up. He's going to be in the Ring of Honor one day. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. But the holdout is apparently because of money.
It's always because of money. He's pulling the Zeke now.
Emmitt Smith did it too.
True that.
So the thing about it is that Zach Collins plays an unsexy position. Zach Martin, rather. Yeah. Zach Martin plays guard. And it doesn't have that sexy thing that the left tackle gets. It's an unsexy position, but it's an important one.
It sure is.
And Zach Martin right now makes $13 million per year. And he's looking around at the landscape and saying, wait a minute. Did you know that Quentin Nelson of the Colts and Chris Lindstrom of the Falcons, both of them guards, who are not as good as me? They're great, but they don't have as many all-pros as me.
Yeah.
They don't have my accolades. Those guys are making $20 million, $20.5 million respectively. And I'm sitting here over at $13 million, and the Cowboys have not reached out to me about restructuring my deal or giving me a raise. I can see why he's getting pissed off, but the thing about it is this. Is this the iceberg that the Cowboys' Titanic ship is going to hit? Because there's something going on right here. Because I think there's more to the story than Zach Martin. I think Zach Martin realizes that A, he's underpaid, but B, he realizes that there's only so many dollars to go around, and the Dallas Cowboys have to start paying other people. Micah Parsons is due for an extension. CeeDee Lamb, come on, man. They pay CeeDee Lamb peanuts to what he should be making. This is a guy that probably is a $25 to $30 million wide receiver. And they're going to have to give him a raise at some point.
Yeah, man.
Trayvon Diggs a couple of seasons ago led the league in interceptions. He needs an extension. So let's look at that. Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, and oh, by the way, Tony Pollard is on a franchise tag.
Yeah.
1-year deal for $10 million. So are they going to try to wrap him up for a long-term deal or not? And I think Zach Martin looks around and goes, when am I going to get paid?
Yeah, he wants his slice of the pie, man.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, before these guys are taken care of, will you take care of me first? Dare I say that the window of opportunity for the Dallas Cowboys of winning a Super Bowl might be closing? Because which of these players are you willing to get rid of? I think the logical choice is to say you get rid of Tony Pollard because running backs are kind of, passe in the NFL right now. You can get a good running back in the 3rd round, 4th round, and kind of get good production from them. So maybe you get rid of Tony Pollard. But if you look at Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb, and you look at other players like Zach Martin, Trayvon Diggs, and all of these guys, Terrence Steele is another one. Which one's going to go? What if they have to get rid of 2 of them? We saw this with the Philadelphia Eagles earlier this summer. The Eagles got rid of 3 starters on their defensive side of the ball. Now, they recouped that by getting guys from Georgia who are going to be rookies this year, right? Yeah. They're trying to get these young guys in, and that's why you build through the draft. But the fact of the matter is that some of these star players from the Cowboys might be gone, not because Mike McCarthy or Dan Quinn wants them gone, not because Jerry Jones or Stephen Jones wants them gone. They might have to leave simply because the Cowboys don't have the money to spend. And then on top of that, you have Dak Prescott on a $59 million price tag next year, a cap hit of that amount. So now the Cowboys are forced to extend him. They're forced to extend him, whether they want him or not. And I think they do want him. But whether they want him or not, they're forced to extend him, and they're forced to restructure his deal. This is a guy that makes $40 million a year. that's kind of the marketplace where he's at. He's probably worth about 45 or 46. But is he going to take that deal and say, no, I'm actually worth this much? Because what he's worth right now is one thing. But once you get Justin Herbert involved, once you get Joe Burrow involved, and you see all of these salaries get higher and higher and higher, Dak Prescott's going to look around and go, hey, I'm a top 10 quarterback. I might not be top 5, but I'm number 7, 8, 9, or 10. I would like to be paid as such. The Dallas Cowboys window of opportunity might actually be closing right now of winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, man. They a lot of people always say all the talent that the Dallas Cowboys have. But at the end of the day, it's just poor execution, not preparing. And it's just heartache after heartache for Cowboys fans like me. So, I mean, regardless of what talent that they have on the actual team, there's always some other drama that's happening behind the scenes. Guys holding out, people wanting to get paid more money. You have the things that goes on behind the scenes with the coaching, all sorts of stuff. It's like the Cowboys just can never seem to get the shit straight.
They can't. I'm a believer that the Cowboys have a legit chance of making the Super Bowl. By the way, Joker with a hell of a comment right there. Cowboys Super Bowl window might be closing. Come on, Jimenez. You know better than that. That window was never open to begin with.
Yeah, okay. Man, that window died in the 90s, bro.
Yeah, did they sell their soul to the devil back in the 90s? It's been a long time, man. It's been a long time since January of 1996. It's been a long time,
man. But several quarterbacks have come and gone.
I mean, the Quincy Carters, the Tony Romos, the Drew Bledsoes of the world. But when you look at the Cowboys, the AFC is so stacked right now that this is the chance for the Cowboys. I mean, tell me the good teams in the NFC right now. You can say the Eagles, right? The Eagles, but the Eagles also have the hardest schedule in the NFL right now. You can say the Cowboys, but they have one of the top 2 or 3 hardest schedules in the NFL this season as well. I'm not a believer in the Giants. I'm not.
Oh, man.
That is a 500 type of team. They're going to go 8-9, 9-8. That's who they are. But when you look at like the Washington Commanders, I don't believe in them either. I don't think they have a quarterback to make it happen. You go to the next division, the Vikings aren't as strong as before, so they may not have that running game that they normally had. The Bears might get better, but Justin Fields needs some time. The Packers, without Aaron Rodgers, now have Jordan Love under center. Is Jordan Love really going to lead them to the Super Bowl this year? You go to the AFC South, the NFC South, and it's trash. The best of the trash is probably my New Orleans Saints. My Saints will probably go 9-8, 10-7, and win the division and host a playoff game. But are you really afraid of the Falcons? I know Bijan Robinson's there.
No, man. They ain't been the same since they did that shit show in the Super Bowl, man.
Right. They're not.
Yeah,
ever since 28-3. Are you afraid of a Baker Mayfield-led Tampa Bay team?
No.
A Bryce Young-led Carolina Panthers team? Are you afraid of that? What about the fact that the Rams are forever injured and are so far over the cap half the time?
Same thing with the Chargers, man.
Yeah. But you keep going down the line. The Seahawks, that's an interesting team.
Oh, yeah. They could be the dark horse, man.
That's an interesting team. That's the team that I am, because they've got the schedule, they've got the players offensively and defensively, they got the depth, and they have a quarterback that doesn't mess up.
Yeah.
That doesn't mess up. Niners. What? Who's going to be their quarterback?
Don't know.
I mean, exactly.
Don't know.
They have an excellent defense, and they got Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel. But do you trust who they have under center? And do you trust whether or not Brock Purdy is going to come back healthy or not? Or are they going to go to their young guy? Or are they going to go to one of their free agent pickups? I mean, you look at the 49ers right now.
Wouldn't surprise me, man, if they came out and they had a 500 season.
And that's the best part of the NFL, is that teams go from worst to first, and teams go from first to worst all the time. I mean, come on. Do we really believe Sam Darnold is going to be a Super Bowl quarterback this year?
No, man.
So the Cowboys right now are in prime position to make something happen, but they've got to win the division, because if they don't win the division, they're stuck in the same crappy position they are last year, which is basically the 5 seed, having to go on the road and basically play road games to make their way to the Super Bowl. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine my team, the Saints, going 9-8 and hosting a playoff game against a 11-6, 12-5, a better Dallas Cowboys team? That is the thing. That is the thing. Mario reaches out and says the Cowboys will win the Super Bowl every year going forward. And you know this, man. Dude, one of my good friends, Quentin Hudson, who I used to do the Fantasy Gods and the Sunday Sports Grill on over at San Antonio Sports Star, he used to always say, this is our year. That is the Cowboys way. Say, this is our year. Matt Lerma says, Jerry Jones looks like he sold his soul. No, Jerry Jones is just old. He's just old. But he's, hate to say it this way, jonesing for another Super Bowl. But Zach Martin, to go out there and say that he wants to get paid now, that he's not going to wait.
Well, he shouldn't, man, because you just never know with longevity. What if he gets injured? He doesn't have any guarantees,
and he's due for an injury. My God, this is a durable guy. This is a guy that doesn't miss many games. I mean, take a look at this. He has played in all of these seasons, right? First year when there was only 16 games, played all 16, and then he played all 16, and then he played all 16. I mean, there is a rhyme and a reason. Then he played all 16, and then he played 16 again, and then he played 16. Last year he played all 17. He's only missed a handful of games over the course of a 9-year career.
Man.
Pay the guy his money. And that's the thing, is that the Cowboys are just not the Cowboys have too many things going on. Jeff Garcia is trying to get on right now. So we're going to have Jeff Garcia Moneybags from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 on in a moment. But the Dallas Cowboys, the window for me is kind of closing, unless the Cowboys have drafted so well that we're unaware of this, unless certain players just jump up. But if you look at the names, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, Tony Pollard, Zach Martin, Trayvon Diggs, Terrence Steele, they're not all going to be there next year. They're not. Micah's going to be there. CD's going to be there. Tony Pollard, I believe, is the one that is going to be on the chopping block when it's all said and done. Don't forget to subscribe to Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. Jeff Garcia is our guy over there, man. And I follow Locked On Spurs on Spotify. It is a great way to get your coverage of the San Antonio Spurs, your silver and black. Victor Wembanyama, our franchise, our savior, come into town. We're going to be talking a lot about Victor Wembanyama over the course of the next 4 years at least. But Jeff Garcia brings you all of that content. He does have a story today about a Knicks player who's unhappy and wants to bail. He's talking about Evan Fournier.
Yeah, and we do have Jeff on standby too.
We're ready to go. Jeff Garcia, how you doing, my man? By the way, you can follow him at Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter and on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. Moneybags, how you doing this Wednesday?
Go. I am doing good. I am sipping on a cup of coffee here at work.
It's not Folgers. It's not Folgers.
No,
it's Starbucks. It's a $9 Starbucks is what it is. What kind of coffee are you drinking?
I ain't gonna say. But
it's not Senka. What is it? What is it? Come on, what is it?
It's not safe anymore. I can say I got a coffee from Starbucks, and of course I'm gonna get piled on. I can say I got a coffee from some other spots in New York City, and I get piled on. But it is a Starbucks coffee.
I know it's not a free cup of coffee.
Now, is it a coffee, Jeff, or is it something special?
It's a latte.
Is it a latte? Is it a cappuccino? What are you drinking?
It's the blonde. Okay, and let me tell you, first of all, the only reason I went to Starbucks is because I was gifted a Starbucks gift card. So I'm just using it. That's all I'm doing. See, I'm using gift card. That's all I'm doing.
He probably got the gold shavings in there. Something,
I know.
The gold leaf,
I know.
Look at that. They're already saying Christopher Leha.
Chris Leha reaching out saying
$50 cup of Joe.
$50 cup of Joe.
No, it's not. It's not.
And Daniel reaching out saying it has to be Mudslingers, damn it. When you're back in town, that's all you're drinking.
Yep.
Our good friends over at Madslingers.
By the way,
Matt Lermo, by the way, great response saying, yeah, he got a $200 gift card to Starbucks.
Oh my God!
It wasn't a $10 one.
It's gonna get twisted into that.
Yeah, no,
that is.
It was no $5, $10 card, man.
So let's talk about our silver and black, our San Antonio Spurs. Wemby has gone into hiding. We're not going to know whether or not he's going to see his shadow if we're going to have 6 more weeks of summer.
Right.
But he's gone into hiding because, it's just one of those things. He wants to get out of the spotlight, the whirlwind of him being in the finals in the French league, going into the draft lottery, to the draft, all of that stuff, the summer league, the 2 games that he played. Now he's gone into hiding. Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
The Spurs are filling out certain positions. They've got Cameron Payne from the Phoenix Suns the other day, and you're looking at the roster going, you've got 18 guys there.
Yep.
Well, according to an article that you wrote today, there's somebody who might be willing to be number 19. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, Knicks Evan Fournier. He's very unhappy with Knicks, Tom Thibodeau. He hates that he's not getting playing time. He's disgruntled that he get even a second in the Knicks, playoff run. So he wants out of New York. The only problem is that he's still under contract. So the Knicks would have to try to work out a trade if they want to get rid of him, or they could buy him out, at the trade deadline, and hopefully, he'd be available where the Spurs can scoop him up. The thing is that he wants playing time. Well, there's a lot of playing time in San Antonio, but for the young core. So that may not sit well. But he also says that he wouldn't mind joining the Spurs for teaming up with Wembanyama to develop some chemistry ahead of the Paris Olympics. So he's intrigued with that idea. I just don't see it happening at the end, though.
Yeah, so Evan Fournier is somebody that turns off a lot of Spurs fans, and I don't get it, man. The Spurs need to have some veterans, and I'm getting kind of tired of Spurs
and shooting,
Twitter.
too. He shoots.
He does.
Yeah.
I mean, he does. This is a guy that can knock down a 3-point shot from time to time. I mean, a career 38% 3-point shooter. Now, you mentioned that last year he didn't get much time. I mean, he only started 7 games last season.
Yeah.
He was averaging 17 minutes per game, which is the fewest number of minutes that he's had since his rookie year. But you go just 1 year before that, the first year that he was with the Knicks, he averaged 14 points per game.
Yeah,
I mean, this was a guy shooting 39% from 3. He's not a bad player. He spreads the floor. He's a 2 or a 3. And it's one of those guys where I'd look at him and I think to myself, I wouldn't want him playing 30 minutes, but to get this guy 18 to 22, I wouldn't mind Evan Fournier on this team. And he's French like Wemby.
Right, yeah. He's French like Wemby and Boris and Jan Mahimi and Sissoko. The list goes on. Tony Parker. So it's not a surprise that he would like to join San Antonio because of the French connection. But ultimately, likely not going to happen. For me, even if it does, I think he would probably kind of be like a rental because he wants playing time. Even what he said, 11 years now?
Yeah.
He's very adamant about getting playing time. And look, Wemby's going to get the bulk of it. Keldon, Devin, Sohan, well, you know how the rest is going to play out. So maybe he's just not going to find it in San Antonio. But makes sense. On paper, it makes sense. Hit perimeter shot, check. International guy, Popovich, check. French guy, check. So, but no, I wouldn't hold my breath over this.
Talking to Moneybags, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. Again, follow him at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Subscribe to him on Spotify. By the way, did you know The Acquired Taste is also on Spotify? So you can follow us as well.
I did not know that.
So, Jeff Garcia, let me ask you this question real fast. I'm a big fan of 90s rock.
Oh, yeah. I know where you're going with this.
And there's a particular singer that you were reporting about today that is showing the Spurs some love, and this isn't the first time. What's going on with this 90s rocker?
Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, he's rocking a Spurs cap. Well, he continues to rock Spurs gear. He had a concert last year, May 2022, at the new Techport Center.
Yeah, he opened it up. He opened it up.
Yeah. So it was a sold-out crowd. The Techport was packed. Good stuff. Well, as he was leaving San Antonio in May 2022, he thanked the fans for showing up by wearing a Spurs cap at the airport and posted it on social media. So if you thought that was just pandering to San Antonio and the fans and that's it, no. Even till today, now we're July 2023. He's still rocking Spurs gear. He's wearing that black cap with the silver logo on it. But can we go down the list of how many Spurs fans that are rockers? There's quite a few, even rappers.
Tell me what you got. I know Selena Gomez.
Yeah, she's one, but is she really now?
She's from Texas.
She's from, but doesn't she kind of rock Lakers gear from time to time?
Well, she lives in LA, but I see her more in Spurs gear than I do anything else. But by the way, before we go through all of these celebrities, about Billy Corgan, Techport actually thanked Billy Corgan because they said that the second that he announced that it was a great facility to play at and that he enjoyed it and that he loved it, that the acoustics were good. By the way, I saw Boyz II Men perform there with my wife. It was great. It's a great complex over there.
Yeah.
And they started getting more and more acts out there. Incubus recently was out there. And, you know, it just takes one domino to fall. And Billy Corgan, you know, the Billy Corgan loves the city of San Antonio.
Oh, yeah.
He shows
back,
the city love.
Back to the 90s, dude, when they were touring here.
But let's talk about celebrities who rock Spurs gear. What you got?
Well, I want to go with the next one because you're going to love this one. This might become R-rated now, the Jimenez show here. Shirley Manson.
Nice.
Remember her? Garbage. Yeah, I know. So you've made it very clear to me that you have a big crush on her.
Dude, Garbage was that band that you know, I would
either love him or hate him, man.
You know, so when Stupid Girl came out, you know, I think I'm Paranoid, only happy when it rains.
Yeah.
When all of those songs came out, I remember looking at her, Shirley Manson, and thinking to myself, she does it for me. Like on paper, she does it. Like on paper, she does it. If I was to say what I like typically about how a woman looks, it's not Shirley Manson. But for some reason, she takes the stage, and I am all ears and I'm all eyes when it comes to Shirley Manson.
Like that.
Yeah, she wears a Tony Parker jersey from time to time during the concert. So, so then we got Selena Gomez, we got Billy Corgan, we got Shirley Manson, George Strait, right?
There you go.
George Strait. There you go. Who else? That's a rocker.
That's a rocker. Well, I mean, I know some actors.
Debbie, who do you got for actors?
Well, she's also a singer. Debbie Ryan is also
right.
She's a Disney star. She is rock Spurs. She's gone to the Spurs games and sat pretty close up. Danny Trejo.
Right. Can't forget one of Texas's own and been on Locked On Spurs, Nathan Ray Clark.
There you go.
And was that Modern Family and the CSI series. So he's a big Spurs fan. What else? Or who else? Isn't can we Eva Longoria, right? I mean, that's just
I mean, she literally married into the team.
Yeah,
but she's also somebody who's from the San Antonio area from being in the
Corpus and her TV husband Ricardo Chavira.
That is
true. He's
true.
Also a big Spurs fan.
Well, you also had Selena Gomez rocking the Spurs jersey.
That's right.
You have
flashed out
Rihanna as well.
Oh, Rihanna, that's a great one. Rihanna was wearing the Spurs gear.
Somebody in the chat room is saying Chuck D from Public Enemy.
That is true.
And Joker says Tommy Lee Jones. Right? Does Tommy Lee Jones even go to games anymore? Remember, there was a period of time he was almost there like nightly.
Not anymore.
He's older now. He's older now.
He's gotten old now.
You know, he doesn't want to hang out in crowds anymore, man. He doesn't. That's just not his vibe. But I love Tommy Lee Jones. I mean, he's such a great actor. He really is. And from the San Antonio area. But it's funny because I'm looking right now. I'm just trying to search some celebrities who have worn Spurs gear. A young in high school LeBron James would wear Spurs gear out and about in public. It's a great color and color scheme, you know, with the black, white, and silver.
Yeah.
I am not a big fan of the fast break and Fiesta colors. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it looks cool. Like Bear County Social Apparel, for example, has these shorts that Brandon Medina wore over here that were Spurs that had the fast breaking colors. You know, the pastels, the pink and the orange and the Fiesta colors. That looked tight, man. That looked really good. But for the most part, I'm not a big fan of that. For the most part, I like the silver and black and just how gritty it is. Right now, if you saw what the Spurs were wearing in the tunnel at the Summer League, and I have a shirt, I showed you my Nike shirt that I got the day of the draft lottery, my lucky shirt, because we won the lottery that night.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about the Spurs logo as it stands right now that is my favorite. Like, it looks tough. It looks like it's something that should be around forever. And the Spurs, every 5 or 6 or 7 years, change their look. But where it is right now, I think it's perfect.
Yeah, I like, especially with they brought back the ABA scheme. Love that.
Yeah,
I think that a Wembayama jersey in that fashion that's already out, that I think down the road is going to be one of the top selling jerseys in the NBA. Because every once in a while throughout the season, the NBA releases updated numbers of jersey sales.
Yeah.
Spurs haven't been on that list since Kawhi Leonard.
It's been a while.
Since nephew left.
Yeah.
My sister, one of my sisters reached out to me and said that she's already buying me my Christmas gift.
No, man.
And it's a Wemby jersey. And she asked me, well, what size and all that stuff. I haven't had a Spurs jersey in 20 years almost. The last one I had was a Manu Ginobili one. And I got that early in his career, probably
what
2005 or 6.
Which one did you get?
The black one.
Okay, know what my last Spurs jersey was?
Oh no, the Manu home the white jersey is the one I got for Manu. I got the black Wemby one.
The last one for me that I bought was Manu Ginobili's Argentinian jersey.
Okay.
Nice. I like that.
You know, when you said that they were getting you something for Christmas already, I thought they were going to get you an OnlyFans subscription to Paige, man.
Oh, to Paige.
Man. Here we go. We're going down the Triple X road now.
She doesn't have OnlyFans. She has something called Only Paige.
Okay.
Because she talks about that all the time. Later on in the show, we'll have to let Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 get off the off ramp on that. But we'll be talking a little bit about OnlyFans boxing, how I knew nothing about it up until this week.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. Yeah, so you mentioned it on the show.
Some
That's
crazy
wild, man.
stuff about that.
Wild.
Crazy stuff.
That sounds like something out of the future.
The future is now, Jeff.
You ain't seen the video, Jeff. That's why you saying that.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is what TikTok and Twitter are for. Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs. Thank you for alerting me to the fact that I was shadow banned on Twitter. It was about a 30-hour experience, 36 hours where...
Can we talk about how you called me that morning?
Yeah, go ahead and bring it up.
So Jimenez, what I love about Jimenez is that he checks up on me in the morning. For some reason, he's like a little brother calling me up. Are you okay? And we chit chat. And then he did it the other morning, and he asked me. His first question was, "Is your Twitter working?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine." He goes, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. So he does test after test. Then he goes to his other account that he has, and it works. And right away, I told him, "You've been shadow banned." And we were trying to figure it out. I still can't figure out why. You didn't say anything egregious.
It was just very ironic how that same night that you went on your rant and said Friends was the worst show on TV along with The Office, and then boom, you were gone.
You see, and right? And we have a poll on this, Jeff. And let me go ahead and update the poll because I released this poll maybe about 2 or 3 hours ago, and I'm surprised at the number of people who respond to certain polls. I know that when I get like 40 or 50 people aren't interested in it. But when it comes to like this, I'm looking at it and I'm like, we had 150 people who have voted already. Okay, so right now I've narrowed it down to 4.
Okay.
The last thing I had mentioned before I got shadow banned was that I thought that the TV show Friends and The Office both sucked. That I don't find them very funny.
Okay.
That's one thing that I was thinking of.
Oh no, you even said Seinfeld did not age well. I remember that one.
I said Seinfeld was great, but didn't age well.
And I guess I can understand maybe why you didn't take a liking to Friends or still don't perhaps or think that Seinfeld lost luster because it's a New York thing. Like I live in New York, I appreciate those shows more. Like I get the inside jokes, I get a lot of the stuff that's said about. So for me, they're still up there. I wouldn't say Friends is all time great. I mean, it's all right.
No, the problem is, I apologize for interrupting. The problem is that Friends, like new people can like young people can watch Friends and get into it. You know, young people can watch New Girl and get into it. There's certain shows that you can jump on 10, 15, 20 years later and appreciate it just as though it had just come out.
Right.
Seinfeld's not that. You show somebody 20 years old, a Seinfeld episode, they're not going to get into it. They're just not.
I disagree. I think it holds up still.
It holds up for people like us of our age. Because it was funny then, it was funny to us now because we get what they're saying.
Well, then again, like I said earlier, for me it's 10 times because living in New York City. Like I can appreciate it more. Like visiting is one thing, but living is another. And I do agree with what the guy said on the chat right now. The Hanover Fist. Seinfeld
is better than Friends. Yeah, by far. Yeah. Not even close.
Yeah.
Now the thing about it is that I went back in time to reread 2 weeks worth of tweets, right? Replies that I was making. And again, I've narrowed it down to 4. Number 1 being my friends / the office take. Number 2 was, do you think that maybe conservatives got mad that I went after a Republican lawmaker? Tony Gonzalez, District 23, represents Helotes, West Bexar County, all the way to El Paso.
Oh.
And he said that he does not want any taxpayer dollars from the city of San Antonio going towards a new Spurs arena downtown. And I retweeted him, and I kind of went viral with it because people started jumping on it, right?
Yeah.
And, I was one of the first to read it, one of the first to retweet it. So many thousands of people viewed it. Is it possible that there's somebody who's conservative, a MAGA type, who might have reported me just out of spite? Not because I said anything rude, but because they just didn't like what I had to say. Is that possible? Yeah. And I think it is.
I think it is. Yeah, I think the politics is hot right now, and you can say anything right now politically, and if it rubs a certain group the wrong way, well then, nope, that offends me, so I'm going to report you to social media, Twitter here. So I will lead to that. I just don't know. Do you think maybe you just ran out of, because you don't pay for the subscription? Do you think maybe you just ran out of your time limit? Do you think maybe that could have been an issue?
No, it wasn't that because I was able to tweet on my other one, and I had not the limits had been on what you could read, not on what you could post. And it's not like I'm a prolific tweeter as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll make a comment 10, 15 times a day.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do it very, very, very often. The other 2 things that I brought up as possibilities, remember that couple who came after me and Joe last week?
Oh, yeah. Some beef.
Former radio couple that was giving me
weird
beef.
Asses, man.
Yeah.
Getting upset because we were asking people to subscribe on Twitter. Let it happen organically. One of the dumbest things I have ever heard anybody ever tweet. And maybe that was their thing. Maybe they came back at me and Joe and just decided to shadow ban me by reporting me to the Twitter police. And then lastly, my last take is that you reported me, Jeff.
What?
Because you wanted me off of Twitter for 48 hours so that the nickname Moneybags would go away.
It wasn't me. But
all right, Shaggy.
I did some research for you. So I just did a generic Google search, like, why do people get shadow banned on Twitter?
Oh, wait a minute here. Rebecca Gonzalez says, how did Joe get the nickname Moneybags? It's not me, Rebecca. It's Jeff Garcia that we have that nickname for.
Yeah, it is Jeff Garcia for ordering a big fancy French steak
on a silver platter
through Uber Eats. That's what it is. Okay,
moving right along.
Yeah. So what was your investigation, by the way?
Another possibility is that Twitter thought you were a bot.
Interesting.
Seriously, that's what it says here. Shadow bans are often caused by activity that gets mistaken for bots.
Huh. Weird.
That is weird. Yeah.
So what do the people think? Again, I mentioned that 150 people or so have already responded this on Twitter. It's a fun poll. I wanted to see what people thought. And right now, the winning category, 36% of people believe it's because I criticized a Republican lawmaker.
I can definitely see that.
29% blame the couple who was giving me and Joe crap on Twitter the other day that I blocked, by the way. 21% saying that my friends and office take were the reasons for it. And
I do agree with Joe when he said that it was a coincidence. Like, it was odd that you just fired up everybody about friends in office, and then boom,
gone.
Boom, you're gone. Because even the congressman, we talked about him, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
nothing happened. But then you badmouth friends and the office, and you're gone, dude. That's crazy to me.
Moneybags, Jeff Garcia, providing his payback, only 14%, Jeff. So people believe in you. Top hat and everything, monocle and everything.
I hate them all.
Very, very nice. Now, Redberg's Junkie reaches out and says, I might have missed it, but what shows does Jimenez think are funny?
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, most recently, I thought Modern Family was very funny.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Okay.
Schitt's Creek was an excellent show. Let's see, on comedies. My wife watches New Girl a lot, and I'm not going to say that I watch it like without her, but when it's on, I think it's actually pretty funny. Let's see, comedies. Community is a show that I love. Parks and Rec was a really good show. 30 Rock was a really good show. I mean, I like a lot of comedic shows. If you want to go back in time, dude, Three's Company is one of my favorite shows of all time. And as boring as it is, I go back and I watch it every once in a while. Cheers and Night Court did it for me growing up. I love Night Court.
For me, recently, it was, in just no particular order or era, it was Arrested Development, Henry Rollins.
That was a great show.
Yeah, that one was pretty funny.
Yeah. And then there's a lot of, for me, a lot of animated comedy shows. Like, this was like a very short-lived adult animated show on ABC. It was called The Critic with John Lovitz.
The Critic.
That.
Was that hated it or I hate it, or I don't know how he phrased it.
No, he says it stinks.
It stinks. There you go.
It stinks. I mean, if you go back, they're on YouTube. You go back and watch them, you'll be rolling on the floor at what they say.
Yeah, he was kind of ahead of his time, dude.
Yeah, Key and Peele was funny when it was out.
Dave Chappelle show had me laughing.
Chappelle show.
Yeah.
Even like the old episodes of like Whose Line Is It Anyway? I mean, that was family oriented for the most part. I thought that was funny. So I do have a sense of humor when it comes to it. But that is Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Cans 5. What are you working on, my man? How can we follow you?
Yes, sir. Hey, before we get into that, can I just alert somebody about something I'm going to post in a few minutes?
Sure.
And I know, and I get it, San Antonio does not have, well, the Spurs do not own a NBA 2K League franchise, like 90% of the rest of the league. But I'm going to be releasing a chat I did with one of the coaches. Basically, he's firing off on the league. He's upset. It got to the point where the league had to email me a statement. It's that big.
Wow.
So basically, what happened was this was $30,000 on the line between his team, the Toronto Raptors affiliate, which is called Raptors Gaming, versus Blazers Gaming. $30,000 were on the line. You're not going to believe what happened. During a pivotal game 2, Raptors were up. The server went out.
Yeah.
The server went out during the game.
Wow.
They restarted the server and made a very controversial decision to give the Blazer 5 team the possession, even though that should not have happened. So he filed a formal complaint / review. They came back with denial. So he went off. So that's coming up later on today. Also, too, because the NBA 2K League playoffs start today as well. So it was kind of a timing thing. That's why I waited till today. But we got a new Locked On Spurs with James Pledger coming out.
Nice.
That's coming out in just about 30, 40 minutes. We're talking about Blake Wesley, and we're answering a fan question. And then got a lot more stuff coming up. So hopefully try to get Joe on Locked On Spurs, but my goodness, our schedules are just whacked.
Oh, well, he's big time in you. He's big time in you.
No, man, I work too much. I'm doing several jobs all the time. So unfortunately, our schedules don't mix during the week. So hopefully during the weekend, we'll hook up here, and then I'll be on the Locked On Spurs episode.
Jeff Garcia.
I got a lot coming up. Yes, sir.
Jeff Garcia is a good guy. Again, follow him on Locked On Spurs podcast. I do so on Spotify. But if you want to actually see his face, because for some reason when he does this show, he does not show his face.
You know what it is? Because I don't have all my camera set up.
No,
you know what
we
it
got
is?
a nice picture of you that we've been showing.
Because you're wearing a suit. You're wearing a suit.
No, I'm not. I'm at work. And if I get on the camera, I have to shut down everything because I work remotely. So everything gets all.
Well, can I ask you a question, Jeff? Do you always wear the top hat even when working from home?
You know what? I'm looking at that picture now. For those of y'all who are watching that picture, you know where that is from? That is from my old former spot. I used to work at News 4 San Antonio for about 7-8 years. That is from their old downtown facility before they left. That's right near the river near Central Catholic on St. Mary's. That's inside from that old building.
Yeah, before the fire. Before the fire out there,
before the fire. Yeah,
they moved over. They moved over to 410 and Evers, and set up shop with KBB over there. Same company, both owned by
Yep.
Sinclair. But that is Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. Follow him like I do. My man, Moneybags. Thanks for being on, my man.
Later. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, Jeff.
Hey, man, special shout out to one of our newest sponsors, MCS General Contracting. We're going to flash their phone number out there, 210-774-9155. This is a company that can help you with your residential and commercial concrete needs. We had a good friend of ours, JJ Garena, earlier this week talking about how when you are building a company and you're going to build a parking lot, you better do it right. Because if you don't do it right, it'll cost you money. So if you need that parking lot done, Concrete Services, MCS General Contracting, 210-774-9155, and on a residential level. We love our barbecues. We love our patios. We love having people come over. I know it's hot right now, but for the most part, we like it when people come over, right? You might need to have that extra space, if you will, an extension of your concrete patio. If you need help when it comes to your foundation on a residential or a commercial front, reach out to MCS General Contracting. We have their phone number on there right now, 210-774-9155. Again, 210-774-9155. Honest pricing, high quality work. Again, those foundations, those driveways, extend the driveway out.
Yeah.
You can give them a call for that. Again, parking lots, foundations, and many other concrete placement services. Our good buddy, Chris Leha, part of this group, been a big supporter of this show. We want to thank him and his company, MCS General Contracting, for their sponsorship, 210-774-9155. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Get it done right. You get what you pay for. If you need concrete, you need a slab, you need something done, a parking lot, get it done right. You get what you pay for in this business.
Yeah, maybe you need to put a slab out in the backyard, put a little shack out there for the mother-in-law,
That's right. That's right. Also want to give a big shout out to another one of our sponsors, Cynthia J. Sanchez of J. Parr Real Estate. My goodness, she has been so successful in real estate. I was talking to a good friend of mine who owns a real estate agency, and he was telling me, he says, 80% of realtors fail. Think about that. 4 out of 5 realtors fail. And Cynthia J. Sanchez has been in business for 16 years, and last year was her biggest year ever. And the reason why, she does a good job. She gets a ton of referrals. She's with J. Parr Real Estate. The number is 210-273-0748. She works well with those who are in the military, who are relocating to town, faith-based community. She's a very, very nice person. She will even offer you a 1-year warranty for some of your appliances if they break down, like the dishwasher or the AC unit, things like that might break down due to wear and tear. This is a $600 value that she will add on top of her services. She's also a former claims adjuster for USAA. So if you are a USAA employee or someone that is looking for a home to buy or sell and is USAA, she knows that mentality. She knows that loyalty there. And not only that, she knows as an adjuster exactly what to look for when checking out a pre-owned home. J. Parr Real Estate, Cynthia J. Sanchez, 210-273-0748. And she also knows which neighborhoods in town are offering those 4% interest rates instead of what the bank is offering at 7%. She can get you that 4% interest rate, 210-273-0748. Let's go on to do some entertainment news. And for those of you who are watching right now on YouTube, check this out. We've got some animation coming. Love it. The production value is already sky high, but you're taking it to another level, Joe Garcia. So if you can, I know we're not allowed to play the audio.
Yeah, we're going to show the video.
But let's show the video of country star Jason Aldean. We do sports, we do pop culture, we do nostalgia. And if you didn't hear, country star Jason Aldean, who, by the way, performs in San Antonio pretty frequently, is being accused of being racist with his newest song and music video. It has gotten so bad that CMT, Country Music Television, has pulled the video from the station.
Yeah, man.
Now,
this is getting bad.
Yeah. Okay. So MTV and BET and VH1 don't play videos anymore, but CMT does.
Yeah.
And the song is called Try That in a Small Town. And the video is filmed outside of a courthouse that coincidentally had a lynching happen many, many, many years ago. And people think that if you read in between the lines of the lyrics, that he's advocating that. Not saying it, but they think, read between the lines, this is what he's saying. So the song is called Try That in a Small Town, and I listened to it and I watched the video earlier today. And I'm not going to say that it's racist, but I'm not going to say that it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very possible it's a dog whistle. And if you don't know what a dog whistle is, it's basically saying something so that only certain people can hear it.
Yeah, you're saying it without saying it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The music video shows a lot of the unrest. Some would call it violence during Black Lives Matters incidences. I mean, there was a lot of protests after a lot of police shootings and alleged brutality against the African American community. And it didn't show any other violence other than that, but it's all through the video, right? And you see these fires, and you see this violence, and then you see the backdrop of a courthouse, right? And some of the lyrics that are said, and I'm going to quote it right here. It says, "Got a gun that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're going to round up. Well, that shit might fly in the city. Good luck. Try that in a small town." And then basically goes on to say, let's see how far that goes.
Yeah.
Okay. So read between the lines. What does that mean? Does that mean that police are going to come and serve and protect? Or does that mean that it's going to be vigilante justice taking people down?
Basically, he's telling you F around and find out.
That's exactly it.
That's it.
And a lot of the critics are coming out and saying, hey, if you want to make things even and talk about doing things that are lawful, why not add some video of January 6th?
Yeah.
Of the storm of the U.S. Capitol in Washington by a lot of Trump supporters. Why not show that as well? But they didn't. So I'm listening to the song, and I'm reading the lyrics, and I'm going along with it. And there's several things that go on with this that I think need to be addressed. And I don't know if we have enough time to do this, but this is a great college paper for any college student that wants to write about this.
Yeah.
He is right. He has the right to sing whatever the hell he wants to sing.
Yeah. Freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech, right? If you go onto YouTube, there are a lot of people out there who are supportive of what he's saying, hey, he's speaking for me. He is speaking for me. I live in a small town. That wouldn't fly over here. Now, how you say that wouldn't fly, what that means, and how it's rectified are two different things.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about it is that Jason Aldean has gotten bad rap recently because the PR firm that represented him dropped him as a client. Why would you drop a superstar country music singer as a client? Well, it's because his wife, for no reason at all, unprovoked, went on a transphobic rant on social media. And he responded by liking it and saying that he agreed with her. So the PR firm dropped him, right? There's other things that have gone on in his life that's kind of weird. Did you know that Jason Aldean was the singer performing in Las Vegas when a gunman opened fire from that hotel and killed over 50 people? He was the one performing. So it's kind of strange that he's singing a song basically saying F around and find out.
Yeah.
Vigilante justice and all that, when he was the actual singer at one of the deadliest mass murders in U.S. history. And then he comes out with this 6 years later.
Yeah.
So some of the reaction coming out, Sheryl Crow, who was just recently inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We know her from the 90s, Tuesday Night Music Club, that album, Every Day's a Winding Road, a lot of great songs from the 90s. She was quoted by TMZ.com by saying that the song is trash. And went on to say, by the way, I grew up in a small town. Jason Aldean did not. Jason Aldean grew up in Macon, Georgia. It's a city.
Grew up in the suburbs.
So I find this to be funny about certain singers and all that cater towards the rural areas. Okay. You take a look at like Kid Rock. His base these days is primarily, I don't want to say primarily rural, but I would say that there's a big chunk there. He pretends that he's poor and that he's white trash and that he's from the trailer. Do you know his dad owned several dealerships, car dealerships, and he was a multimillionaire growing up? And he's been peddling this bullshit for 20 years that he's straight from the trailer. That's the biggest load of shit ever given to rural people, to poor people.
They believe it.
They believe it just because he doesn't wear a t-shirt and he looks like trash. And then Jason Aldean, try that in a small town. He's not from a small town. He didn't grow up in a small town. It's so funny because the lyrics, I could have written the lyrics.
Yeah.
AI could have written the lyrics to this song.
Facts.
Just say, what is some stupid rednecky things to say? And just put them all in a sequence saying, I love my country. I believe in the law. I believe in this. And, you know, we don't do this in small towns. If you just stack them up, it's a country song. So we're showing the video from time to time. We played a portion of the video. He has every right to say what he said. But then someone commented on YouTube, not on our YouTube, but on the video that is on YouTube right now of Jason Aldean. Again, the name of the song is Try That in a Small Town. Asking the question, well, what about a lot of the rap and hip hop songs that have talked about murder, that have talked about violence? And, you know, I mean, I remember growing up in the mid 90s. I was in high school when, you know, there's so much happened in the LBC, you know, you had NWA, you had Dre, you had Snoop, you had all that talking about, you know, pop a cap in your ass and all that stuff.
Ice-T too.
Ice-T, you know, Hustler, Hustler, you know, and that's the thing about it all is they're saying, well, wait a minute. They're advocating violence, or they're at least glorifying it. So there's something to be said about that as well. Okay. Tim Gonzalez reaches out and says NWA rapped about the police back in the 80s and 90s. That's true, right? Bands like NWA were about, you know, fight the power. You know, they're going back and telling you, like, reporting what's going back on the streets. But the 90s gangster rap was not about that. The 90s gangster rap was not necessarily about civil justice and not about things like that. It was basically glorifying violence. It is fact. It is fact.
Yeah, a lot of those songs, though, like, they were trying to tell you almost like a story, like from their perspective of what was going on in their area, in their neighborhoods,
right?
How they kind of grew up.
And I think that's the difference because that's basically saying the violence that they're seeing from their own neighborhood. Not all of it was like that. I mean, a lot of the rap was about you come at me, I'm going to come at you.
Yeah.
Right. Jason Aldean, though, with that particular song, you just read between the lines of what he's saying. And for him to have the audacity to have this music video in front, basically advocating violence against people who come into their town, right? Who are not like us. You know, when they say bring it back to, you know, we take care of our own. Who is our own? Yeah. That's an actual lyric that he says over and over again. We take care of our own. What does our own mean? Yeah. And for him to have the audacity to have that particular music video, the backdrop being the same trees by which a black man was lynched many years ago.
Yeah.
Read between the lines, dude.
Yeah, maybe he should have had a better video, man. Like, you know.
Well, no, that was the point.
You know, just not
that was
advocate
the point.
Violence.
That was the point. And that's the world that we live in right now, where you have two sides, where you have some people saying, well, then F off. I'm going to go ahead and just hang out with my peeps. That's the world that we're living in. You know, we are a country divided, and it's never going to get better. There's not going to be a uniting force for it. There's not, you know, and Rome fell. The United States may fall one day. And a lot of it is based on the fact that, personal opinion, I think that The idea that life has changed for what is an average or normal American. The nuclear family is no longer a nuclear family. In fact, that TV show was called Modern Family. It's because there are more non-nuclear families than nuclear families. The number of people who go to church versus don't go to church, the ones that don't go to church is getting to the point where they're about to become the majority. When it comes to minorities, Hispanics, African Americans, we are becoming the majority. In fact, according to the last census, and it was reported just a few weeks ago, Hispanics are now the biggest ethnicity within the state of Texas. And I think people are getting pissed about that. And I think that there's a dynamic there between, it used to be, I don't think necessarily think that it's a white versus a black thing or a brown versus black. I think that there is a big divide between rural America and urban America.
Yeah.
And they have two different sets of realities. And that's the main thing going on right now. But my goodness, that video again by Jason Aldean, try that in a small town. Pulled from CMT, Country Music Television. But it's still available on YouTube if you want to check it out. Be a judge of your own. I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to think. I'm just giving you my perspective when it comes to things. It's I would say this, though. If you like the song, probably don't karaoke it.
Man.
Now, fortunately, you won't be able to karaoke that tonight, okay? Because tomorrow night is a special night over at one of our sponsors, Serenity Manor, out there in Helotes, Texas. They had their first karaoke night last Thursday. I was there. We've already played the video. We don't got to do it again. I did Every Little Step by Bobby Brown. It was a good night. We had about 70, 75 people there. It was amazing. 14405 Old Bandera Road, Helotes, Texas. That's catty corner to Flores Country Store, which I believe Jason Aldean has performed there before. But again, this is a great venue. Look at these photos, man. These photos of an indoor and outdoor venue where you can have your wedding, your reception, your quinceañera, bridal showers, baby showers, corporate events, birthday parties, family reunions. It's a great place, man. And then they have a bar there that they have open, small bar, beer, wine, margaritas, and they have their fun nights on Thursdays. So tomorrow they're going to have a trivia night, and then next Thursday it's going to be karaoke. And the thing about the karaoke over there is that it's family oriented, because last week they had, you can bring your teenager out there, and no one's getting drunk off their ass.
Yeah, they could bring your dog, couldn't you?
Well, I didn't see any dogs out there. But what I did see were families going out there enjoying a margarita and a couple of beers. No one getting trashed, but going over there and having a good time. The kids would go up there and sing every once in a while, but 90% of the performers were adults. Okay, it's a family atmosphere. If you have a teenager, who likes to sing, go take them out there. They have lots of different genres of music available. I had a blast out there. Again, it's called Serenity Manor. It is an old Helotes. The 14405 Old Bandera Road, again, catty corner, diagonal, if you will, from Flores Country Store.
Or kitty corner.
My cousin Lonnie, dude, calls it kitty corner, and I give him so much crap about that.
Kitty corner.
The heck is kitty corner? I have no way to transition to this next story, but we got to talk about it. And do not show the boobies. We're not going to show that
man.
one.
I made sure that I pulled the right video, because they had, man.
Sweet goodness.
Dude,
oh my God.
I was looking for, full disclosure, I was looking for the video you told me. So as I'm scrolling down, I'm just like, bro.
I'm going to let you guys know, I've done very little research for this next topic. And you better believe me that when my wife is out of the room, I might research it a little bit more. Okay. But apparently there's something called OnlyFans Boxing.
Yeah.
Featuring these models that are going out and doing things. And I got suckered into it because I think it was Barstool Sports or one of those places that posted video. And before a boxing match, there's the stare down between the two fighters, and they do the weigh-in and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I saw one where this girl is coming out of her sweats and she's like taking them off, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is a boxing match, but she didn't look like a regular boxer. Like, this girl was hot. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then I noticed that the other girl's coming on. Let's go ahead and show this this video real fast, because they're going up for a weigh-in, and one of the girls.
Yeah, we got video and the audio. So let me play this.
Okay. Yes, let's go ahead and play it. Okay, so what you just saw there are two OnlyFans boxers, one named Amber O'Donnell, which is the one that I was checking out, and another woman named Whitney Johns. And during their weigh-in, they faced each other afterwards, right? You know, they're supposed to stare each other down. And Whitney Johns pretended like she was going to kiss Amber O'Donnell. Pretended.
Yeah.
Amber O'Donnell looks at her and says, well, if you're going to do it right, and grabbed her by the face and kissed her and just planted one on her. Now, Johns went on to win the fight. This happened over the weekend, but the video went viral. And I saw it on TikTok. I saw it on Twitter. I was like, oh my God, what is this? On top of that, you have the fact that there was a girl who won a fight earlier this past weekend, and she got so excited she took off her top. I am not prepared for things like that. Okay. And it's just like, I'm just scrolling through. I'm watching sports. I see that it's a sport. What is this? And then all of a sudden you see that. And it's setting sports back a long way, but I can see the appeal. I can see why guys would want to watch this, because, I mean, two smoking hot girls fighting each other. It's a lot different than MMA, right?
This is probably going to be Mike's reaction, by the way.
I'm not spending any money on this. Hand over fist one says boxing is dead. And you know what? For the most part, it is. I'm a big fan of boxing. I really am. I've never really got into MMA. I mean, I watch it. I'll go to the bars to watch the big fights and the big names. But I would rather have a good boxing match to watch. People asking me the question, how excited do I get watching those OnlyFans boxing videos? I mean, it took my interest for a minute, right? I mean, that's basically it.
I like this comment here. Redbird's junkie opens private browser window.
Yes, incognito mode. Others are asking if me and Johnny Walker are going to be doing some karaoke to 80s songs. I can see that happening. Others reaching out saying it sucks seeing a great sport with great history go down. And that's the thing about boxing, man, is that, I mean, how do you make it better? The fact of the matter is that the good fighters don't fight each other until they're way past their prime.
It's all about making money, man.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Oscar De La Hoya, was he really that great, or did he avoid people for so long? I mean, he did fight some big names, but they were past their prime. I mean, I think Julio Cesar Chavez was already 1 foot in the grave when De La Hoya finally fought him. Then you see Floyd Mayweather Jr., who might be the most boring boxer I've ever seen in my life. He may go down as this undefeated all-time great, but it is like watching paint dry, watching a Floyd Mayweather Jr. fight. There ain't going to be no action going on. No one's getting knocked out. No one's getting knocked down unless he's cheating. And I can't stand watching it. You know, growing up, I grew up in a time, now I was young back then, but I remember being 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old and watching Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Roberto Duran, Thomas Hearns, and they would all just fight each other like crazy, and they were all at the peak of their careers. And we haven't had that in forever. And that's why boxing sucks. And it also sucks because there's like 30 different heavyweight champions. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's like WBO, WBC, WBA. Like, shut up. Why, you know, who gives a crap if you have one title but not the other two? You know, and it's gotten to be so stupid. But I love it, though. I mean, a good fight. Dude, most recently, 20 years ago, when he had Gotti versus Ward, and they were just going at each other, just pummeling each other. And then Mickey Ward's story was turned into the movie The Fighter with Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg. Great movie. Love that movie. That is an A movie for a boxing movie. great movie, one of the best sports movies out there. But boxing used to be so great, and it's not anymore. It just isn't. Recap today's stories. Apparently, OnlyFans boxing is a thing. Okay, I'll bite. Will I watch it? Maybe. Will I pay for it? No. We learned that Jason Aldean may or may not be a racist. It depends on your point of view. Music video pulled from Country Music Television's CMT. Bet you he wins awards with it, dude. I bet you he does. We also talked about the fact that Jeff Garcia was saying that Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins is sporting Spurs gear. Evan Fournier of the Knicks wants out and kind of insinuated that he wants to play for Greg Popovich and alongside fellow Frenchman Victor Wembanyama. We also talked about the fact that when it came to the Dallas Cowboys, their captain, Zach Martin, he is threatening to sit out camp because he wants to get paid. Gets paid $13 million. His contemporaries, the best at the guard position in the NFL, are making $20 million. And Zach Martin's looking around going, wait a minute. They're going to give money to CD. They're going to give money to Parsons. They're going to give money to Trayvon Diggs, maybe Terrence Steele, maybe Tony Pollard. Maybe I should get paid first. I've been here longer. I'm a 6-time All-Pro. That's the thing. Again, Cowboys camp starting pretty soon over in Oxnard, California. Recapping today's poll, by the way, why did I get shadow banned? I narrowed it down to 4 things, man. Narrowed it down to 4 things. I was off of Twitter for 36 hours. For some reason, someone reported me. Don't know why. But right now, 36% believe that it's because I criticized a Republican lawmaker about his position on the Spurs' new arena. 28% believe it's the couple I called out, or that called me out, and then I called them back out for being jerks. Some last-minute comments here. Mario Cavazos asking the Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg would be fun. I doubt it'll ever happen. And then Drew Show says Floyd Mayweather Jr. ruined boxing. 100% agree. Hey, take a look at the QR code right now. It is called buymeacoffee.com/acquired taste. You click on that QR code, you can send me and Joe a tip, if you will. If you like this show, want to keep it going, buy us a beer. It's like a $5 tip. And it's just a way of saying thank you. We do not charge for subscriptions when it comes to this. But again, buy us a beer is just a way to show us some love if you want to. Maybe buy us lunch. That'd be perfectly great.
Yeah.
You guys oftentimes listen to us while you're having your lunch break. You know what? We'd like to have some lunch from time to time. You can support the show by buying us a beer. This has been a fun show. And it's an hour and 15 minutes long. We're talking about going to 2 hours pretty soon. Most definitely by August 7th, but it might be the week before that. We're still trying to figure that out. I love the fact that we've had some guests here. Jeff Garcia today. Thank you, Jeff Garcia. Locked On Spurs, Ken's 5. Don't forget to subscribe. Johnny Walker was a great guest.
Yeah.
We have Carolina Teague on from time to time. We have a good stable of people who come on that support this show, that make it entertaining. So it's not just me rambling on for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right? Joe Garcia does a fantastic job producing the show. There is a rumor out there that we're getting our first sponsor for the Fantasy Gods.
Nice.
They reached out to us, but I'm not going to say who, but they reached out to us today inquiring about, hey, when is this due so that we can sponsor the Fantasy Gods? Gets going August 7th. Again, get you prepped up for your fantasy football needs. Get you ready for the draft, and then during the football season, get you going right before the noon show, the noon games rather, what players to start, which players to bench, who to take on the waiver wire. Brandon Medina is going to be hosting that show. I'll be alongside him, but Brandon Medina, that is his baby. Again, Fantasy Gods begins August 7th, and if you want to sponsor the show, reach out to me, DM me. I'm at MJ Acquired Taste on Twitter. Subscribe. Don't forget, hit the like button. If you hadn't already, hit the like button over here because that helps us out. Share the content. Let people know that we exist. We have more than 500 YouTube subscribers. We're getting closer and closer, Joe, to monetizing this because the number of hours viewed is getting close to that threshold needed. This has been fun so far. And we have young people who now want to be part of this network. It's growing. I don't know if it's going to grow as fast as I want it to grow, but so far, so good. This has been a fun show. If you have any recommendations for topics for tomorrow, reach out to me on Twitter, reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram, wherever. Just DM me and send me some topics. I'd like to, because Thursdays is typically, you call it, right? Thursdays are
the fans. The fans, they
fans,
call it, man. You call it.
You call the topics.
Look at Tim Gonzalez, man.
Moneybags needs to bring lunch for Joe and Mike.
He does, man. He needs to order us a steak. I want to know what that's like.
That thing was moist, dude. Like the whole Moneybags thing. Like his eyes closed because he saw what I was thinking.
Yeah,
that name has stuck. That name is stuck.
It's not going nowhere.
Thank you again to Cynthia J. Sanchez of J. Parr Real Estate, because again, we can't do it without you. J. Parr Real Estate. Let's flash that number one more time. 210-273-0748. You're trying to buy a house, sell a house, get a rental property, an Airbnb. Cynthia J. Sanchez, she does it for us. Don't forget, tomorrow's trivia night at Serenity Manor over on Old Bandera Road out there in Helotes. Go hang out with them. That's usually goes from about 6 to about 10, but they went out to 11 last week because so many people were there. And then also, again, if you need concrete, if you need a slab put together, a parking lot, don't forget to reach out to our sponsors, MCS General Contracting. Chris Leha out there, 210-774-9155. Those concrete porches, those patios, all of that can be done through MCS General Contracting, 210-774-9155. And don't forget Jeff Garcia, Locked On Spurs, Ken's 5. We show him love because he shows us love. Subscribe to him on Spotify, and guess what? You can subscribe to us on Spotify. Look up The Acquired Taste. We're there. Promise you we are. Yeah. We're going to be back tomorrow. Joe Garcia, fantastic job producing today. We'll be back tomorrow. Hope everyone has a fantastic day, a great night. We'll see you guys tomorrow.